Hi everyone, welcome to my class. Myself Sahil Kanwar. Today we are going to start a new chapter. A chapter is depreciation. In this chapter we have to discuss about what is the meaning of depreciation, why we have to create a depreciation account, why we have to create some fixed assets account, what are the other words that we have to use according to the nature of the product. So depreciation, generally we can say that we have to charge on the fixed assets. So there are some also other words that we have to use in place of depreciation. Okay class, firstly we have to start some basic information. We have to collect some basic information with this word, that is depreciation, and how we have to calculate it. So in this chapter we have to study about the word is depreciation and how we have to create a different types of fixed assets account, how we have to create a provisions account. So class, let's start it. So first of all, the topic is introduction of depreciation. What is the meaning of depreciation? In our accounting terms, depreciation is defined as the reduction of recorded cost. Here the word recorded cost is there. It means recorded cost of fixed assets. यानी कि for example you have purchased an asset for your business on 1st April 2017. Again I repeat, you have purchased an asset on 1st April 2017. On that time you have to record the value of that asset in your books. So it means your fixed assets, whenever you have purchased it, you have to record in your books in a systematic way. So systematic way until the value of the assets become zero or negligible. Clear? So that is depreciation. You have to charge in a systematic way, by year, by 6 months, by half yearly, by quarterly. So that depends upon business to business what the method they have to adopt by time to time. Just take an example of this word depreciation. An example of fixed assets are building, furnitures, office equipments, machinery, trucks, and so on. A land, listen very carefully, a word land is the only exception which cannot be depreciated, because we know that by time to time the value of land is increasing. So depreciation will not able to charge, or we can also say that depreciation is not charged on the value of land. Okay, now there is a definition which is given by a famous person, that is Pickles. He said depreciation is the permanent and continued diminution. You can also say that declining in the quality or quantity or the value of the assets. So he want to say that a permanent and continued declining the value of the assets, maybe the quality point of view or quantity point of view. So that term is known as depreciation. Now there are some words that we have to use according to the nature of the product. First of all, the depreciation that we have already done, and second word depletion, and after that amortization. But again I want to share some information, the word related with depreciation. Depreciation expense generally applicable on the all tangible long-term assets. The very important thing, all tangible long-term assets. Okay, for example building, machinery, truck, and so on. So we have to charge the on all the tangible assets, but that must be in a long term. Okay, so that depreciation is but for only for fixed assets, not for any other assets. After that, a second word, amortization. Now what is amortization? As we also know that there are some intangible assets in our business. What is intangible asset? Which जिसको आप टच नहीं कर सकते, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, but that exists in our business organization. So if on that particular asset, like intangible assets like goodwill, copyrights, patents, and so on, whenever the value of these assets are declining or decreasing by time to time, so that for that thing we have to use a word amortization. Clear? For an intangible assets, if you want to record a depreciate value or declining value, you have to use a word amortization. Okay, only for intangible assets. Clear? Very good. After that, third thing is that depletion. Now, what is depletion? It is a charge in a measure of exhaustion of wasting assets such as extraction of material from mine, etc. Now, what is extraction? Extraction means that reduce the available quantity of a material. For example, extraction of coal from coal mine is depletion of coal stock, deforestation, and so on. One thing which I want to share with you, that if you are confusing it, you know that what is depreciation, that means charge on tangible assets, and for amortization, that is on intangible assets. But for depletion, you just have to keep in your mind that is on natural resources. Okay, on natural one. So whenever your natural resources value declining, for example, he want to say here deforestation, depletion of coal stock, so that term we have to use a word depletion here. Clear, class? Okay, so that is the difference between these three words: depreciation, depletion, and amortization. Once again, depreciation on tangible assets, amortizations on intangible assets, and depletions that is on our natural resources. So जब तीनों की वैल्यूज कम हो रही है, इन द केस ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन अगर टेंजिबल की वैल्यू कम हो तो वी हैव टू यूज अ वर्ड डेप्रिसिएशन. In the case of intangible assets, we have to use the word amortization. At last, for our natural resources, we have to use word depletion. Clear? And after that, a next topic, that what are the depreciable assets and what are the non-depreciable assets. So firstly, there are some depreciable assets, like the assets are acquired or constructed with the intention of being used and not with the intention of resale. It means you want to use that asset, you don't want to sell that asset to one of any other person, you don't want have any intention for the resale purpose. Okay, so that kind of transaction, that type of asset is known as depreciable assets. Clear? And after that, you can also share uh, just wait. Okay, yes, the assets that are acquired or constructed with the intention of being used, not with the intention of resale, so that is depreciable assets. And the assets are depreciable when you have to charge depreciation, are expected to be used in more than one accounting period. For example, listen very carefully. If you want to use that asset for more than 1 year, यानी कि अब मैं अगर आपसे बोलूँ कि अगर आपका कोई बिजनेस है and you want to purchase an asset for your business, so that asset you must have to use for more than 1 year. So in that case, you can consider that asset as a depreciable asset. Or an asset, second condition is that have a finite useful life. तो यानी कि उस एसेट की कोई एक डेडलाइन होनी चाहिए, कोई एक एंडिंग पीरियड होनी चाहिए कि आफ्टर दिस टाइम द एसेट बिकम टोटली जीरो और एट मिनिमम प्राइस. That can also be seen that scrap value of that particular assets. For example, after 10 years, the asset become totally value, that asset become totally zero. That it means you have to consider what is the life of that particular asset. So that kind of assets are known as depreciable assets. And after that, a second thing, a non-depreciable asset, freehold land. Freehold land means that you are the owner of the land. It has indefinite useful life and it retain its value indefinitely. Very simply, you have purchased a land for your business purpose, तो लैंड ख़त्म तो नहीं होगी ना. द लैंड वैल्यू ऑफ लैंड इंक्रीजिंग डे बाय डे, नॉट इन अ डिक्लाइनिंग फॉर्म. वो एसेट डिक्रीज नहीं होगी, वो इंक्रीज होगी. सो दैट काइंड ऑफ एसेट्स आर नोन एज डेप्रिशिएबल एसेट्स. और लीज होल्ड लैंड. व्हाट इज लीज होल्ड? व्हाट इज द वर्ड लीज? आपको पता है, दे आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ वर्ड, दैट इज रेंट एंड लीज. Rent is generally for on the monthly basis. You have to pay a rent for your accommodation purpose for 1 year or 2 year. That terms are known as rental. But lease, a lease it means you have to lease a building for more than 50 years but less than 99 years. Okay, so if you want to acquire a property on a rental basis but more than 50 years, so that term, that kind of asset is known as leasehold land. It has an unexpired period but or not less than 50 years. Clear? So that is depreciable and non-depreciable assets. Now, next thing, a very important thing, what are the methods of depreciation? So class, this is our main topic, that how we have to record a depreciation value in our accounts, how we have to create a machinery account, a truck account, or any fixed asset account. So in our accountancy syllabus, as per our CBSE syllabus, we are having only two methods. Okay, but the name of method is very different one. So here you can see some names of some similar name of a same method. First point, straight line method, original cost method, fixed percentage method, one is the same thing. अगर आपको एग्जाम में कोई भी क्वेश्चन आए, कैलकुलेट द वैल्यू ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन बाय यूजिंग दिस मेथड, whether it is straight line or original method or fixed percentage method, so that term you have to do just a simple thing, straight line method. Clear? And second one is reducing balance method, diminishing balance method, reducing value method. So here the terms, two methods are there, but they are having some synonyms. So don't be confused, just do it this just by this way. Okay, you have to do this question just by following the names of the depreciation method. First one is straight line method. A depreciation is computed by dividing the depreciable amount of the asset by expected number of accounting period of its useful life. Okay, very simply you have to calculate the depreciable amount. How you can calculate it? Here is a formula, just check it. A formula of depreciation is depreciation, a cost of asset at the time of purchase. Whenever you have purchased a particular, what is the cost of that asset? Estimated residual value. You can also say her scrap value at the end of the, after 10 years, after 20 years, you have to resell that product. तो आप जितने में रीसेल करोगे, that value is known as residual value. Clear? And the number of years of expected useful life. तो आप कितने years के लिए वो assets use करना चाहते हो? For 10 years, for 20 years, that depend upon asset to asset. Okay, so that is the meaning of residual value. Here you can also see here, or the number of expected useful life, a useful economic life, or number of years of expected useful economic is not equal to the physical life. It is the period over which the present owner intend to use the asset. So it doesn't mean कि after 20 years the asset become totally zero. भी owner की मर्जी होती है कि how much time that he want to use that asset. Okay, so that is an economic life of a particular asset, कि वो चाहता है कि मैं after 10 years इसको मैं resell करूँगा. So that is an economic life on that particular asset. So that is an intention, that is a totally based on a choice, that how much time that he want to use that asset, for 10 years, 20 years. So on the basis of that years, you have to calculate the depreciation value. Okay, and what is residual value? It is an amount that is received after disposal of the assets. Now what is the disposal of the asset? For example, you can say that you have purchased a car of rupees 10 lakh rupees. After 5 years you have sold it on like 2 lakh rupees. So the difference between the value of purchase price and sale price, once again purchase price is 5 lakh rupees and sale price is 2 lakh rupees after 5 years. So it means the value of residual value of that car is only 2 lakh rupees. Okay, so residual value, you got it? Is there any doubt? Okay, thank you. And after that, just take an example of how to calculate depreciation under the straight line method. Once again, I want to share straight line method, or maybe original cost method, or maybe a fixed percentage method. Okay, so example is that a cost of an asset is rupees 1200 rupees. Okay, so this is just a basic example of straight line method, that how we have to solve this question. the residual value, the scrap value or salvage value, one is the same thing, that is 200 rupees. Clear? Cost of an asset 1200, scrap value that is 200. scrap value मैंने आपको बताया था ना, that is at the end of the economic life of an asset, but the amount that you have sold in the market, the asset that you have sold in the market, and you are getting something in form of money. तो जो भी पैसा आपको एंड में मिला, दैट टर्म इज स्क्रैप वैल्यू और साल्वेज वैल्यू. तो दैट इज़ 200 रुपीज़. एस्टिमेटेड यूजफुल लाइफ 4 years. तो वो वही ओनर की चॉइस है दैट ही वांट टू यूज़ दैट एसेट ओनली फॉर 4 years. नाउ व्हाट इज़ द फॉर्मूला ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन? अ कॉस्ट ऑफ एसेट, द परचेज वैल्यू ऑफ दैट एसेट. कितने में परचेज की थी हमने? दैट इज़ 1200. ओके, एंड दैट इज़ 1200. एस्टिमेटेड रेजिडुअल लाइफ, तो आफ्टर एट द एंड ऑफ 4 years वो कितने में सेल होगी? 200 रुपीज़ में. ओके, एंड फॉर हाउ मैनी ईयर दैट यू वांट टू यूज दैट एसेट, दैट इज फॉर द नंबर ऑफ ईयर, दैट इज 4 years. सो दैट्स अ सिंपल फॉर्मूला. cost from 1200 minus 400. Okay, sorry, here I want to share something with you. There is some correction that I want to share with you. A 1200 minus 200. Okay, because the residual value is 200 rupees and the number of year, that is 4. So that is some correction in this word, that is 400 is not there, the word is 200. Okay, the number is 200. So 1200 minus 200 is, that is 1000 divided by 4, that is the number of years. So the depreciation on that asset we have to charge on each year, that is 250 rupees. Clear? Okay, thank you class. So एक और एग्जांपल मैं आपसे शेयर करता हूँ. जस्ट टेक एन सेकंड एग्जांपल, but before that you have to understand some important meaning of this capital expenditure. What is capital expenditure? Additional capital expenditure are made to increase the value of that assets. तो समटाइम्स आप रिपेयर करवाते हो प्रोडक्ट्स की, यू वांट टू रिपेयर योर प्रोडक्ट्स बाय टाइम टू टाइम. So that type of expenditures are known as capital expenditures. Okay, depreciation of those extra capital should be charged over the remaining useful life. Here the word, the remaining useful life. जब भी आपने वो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर किया तो उसके बाद वो कितने टाइम के लिए यूज़ हो रहा है, दैट इज़ आल्सो ए पार्ट ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन. For example, installation charges, repair charges. Okay, so these are the some words that are related with capital expenditures. Now an example that I want to share with you. A company purchased about a machine for rupees 1000 rupees on 1st Jan 1996. Clear? Just wait. Yes, 1996, and the estimation life of an asset is 4 years and there is no scrap value. Okay, on 1st January additional motor of rupees 90 rupees की a motor that was fitted into a machinery. तो it means आपने एसेट का परचेज की on 1st Jan 1996 और आपने 1st Jan 1997 में क्या किया, एक एडिशनल मोटर उसमें इंस्टॉल करवाई. सो you have to calculate here the value of depreciation. So how we have to calculate it? That is the solution. Just check it. Depreciation for the year 1996. 1996 the value of asset is, yes, 1000 rupees. Okay, so 1000 rupees, the estimation life of an asset is 4 years. So 1000 divided by 4, because there is no scrap value, so we don't need to deduct anything. 1000 divided by 4, that is 250 rupees. Clear? So in this case, after 1st Jan 1997, once again 1st Jan 1997, an additional motor, that is